Welcome back to Let's Talk Ninjago. Today we are doing a new type of video. We're doing what Marvel character would this Ninjago character be? So the main idea of this is what character most resembles another character. And I thought with the release of Spider-Man Brand New Day, great movie by the way, I'd give it like a 9.5 out of 10. Let me know your thoughts on that movie in the comments. Anyway, with that, the Doomsday hype coming up, we're in a little bit of a Ninjago drought right now, I feel like. I thought I'd just, put them together and talk about it because I've been watching a lot of Marvel and Ninjago. So, yeah. That said, I do have two characters for some just because I see similarities and difference, but we'll get to it when we do. So, for the first character, for Lloyd, I've gone with Captain America and Sentry. Now, I think Captain America is pretty self explanatory. I mean, you can even take it as his origin. Little kid becomes it is different, but you know what I mean, like little kid and then or really scrawny and then becomes like the leader. That's what I most see in Lloyd, and also believes in what they believe so much that they'll go against people even if it could make it look wrong for them, like Lloyd does in say season 6. Or when's another example? That's the main one to me, like when he's telling the commissioner, look, you can stop us, but we're gonna help save them. You can't, we're gonna help save them. You can shoot me or you can take me in. I feel like that's a real, Civil War Captain America move. So that's why I picked him. And for Sentry, I mean, golden power, that's the main reason I picked him. I just think kind of fits him, the golden element, same color hair, sort of. He's not the chosen one, but the idea. Oh, if you guys enjoyed this video, please let me know, and I can do a Star Wars and DC one because I think there's some pretty obvious ones for say Lloyd, obviously like Anakin and Luke Skywalker. But yeah, I think Lloyd definitely resembles these two. Sentry in just terms of how strong he is, and yeah, and then Captain America, obviously he's the leader, so that's why I went with that. Then next up, Next up, we have Kai. I think this is the easiest one. Human Torch. I mean, this is so obvious that I kind of think they did base Kai's character off Johnny Storm just because of how, close they are to each other. First up, when I was doing this, I just thought of the scene of Kai in Skybound, with the phone texting all the girls and stuff, and I just thought, that's Johnny Storm. Like, I don't know, I just think this is a perfect Kai as Human Torch. I just see. I think this might. I've got some good picks. I did some good picks that you'll see later on, but I think this is one of my strongest ones. It's just perfect. Hothead, thinks they're the man. Kai is a bit more, less cocky than Johnny, sort of. I would say, specifically, this is, pilots to season 5, maybe, Kai. Not as much Dragon's Rising Kai, because he's a lot more self-aware and sort of a mentor and knows himself more and knows his faults. But I still definitely see a lot of Kai and Johnny Storm. So yeah, he's literally the hothead and Johnny Storm's on fire. So I think Human Torch and Kai, I think that's an easy one. Then for Jay, I've actually gone. Jay was interesting because in terms of his character, I see the most in Spider-Man, but obviously lightning powers, I had to also include Thor. In terms of actual how much their character compares, I don't think Jay's anything like Thor. That's why I put Spider-Man here as well. But I had to for the powers, whereas for Spider-Man I see a lot of that in Jay, sort of the quippiness, the amount he loses, the struggle Jay goes through being adopted, which is similar to him losing his memories. Obviously, Spider-Man doesn't lose his memories, but people forget about him, whereas Jay forgets about people. It's different, but sort of a similar thing. I think this is a perfect example. Jay to Spider-Man, then I put in Thor just because of the powers, but mainly Spider-Man. Then for Cole, I've gone with the Thing. Again, I think this is a pretty easy one. I mean, especially recently, we see Cole. What was that? Oh no, we're good. We literally see Cole as a giant. No spoilers. See Cole as a giant golem form. What else could you go? He's made out of rocks, like the Thing. I just think this is a perfect example. And he's sort of more of a, how would you say it? rock of the team, like the heart of the team, like the thing is. So I think this is a pretty good comparison as well. And Cole sort of has that like rough backstory that the thing has. So I think this is a good comparison. Then for Zane, Zane was kind of hard because there's not too many characters that had one or the other. Oh, I probably should have included Iceman for him as well. But yeah, I mean, I guess you include Iceman because of the ice power, but not really in terms of character. In terms of character, I went for Vision and Silver Surfer, mainly because of design for Silver Surfer. But for Vision, I think that's the best comparison. I think Zane sort of becoming more human, like having actual emotions, and the constant talk about Zane being more than a robot is similar to like the experience Vision went through, where he started learning about bonds and like literally had a relationship with Wanda. Obviously, it's not as similar because Zane's relationship is with another robot, but still, I can see a lot of similarities in those two, like in just the difference in how they talk compared to the other characters. I think this is a good comparison. Like they're a lot more logic based than say Kai or Jay. So yeah, I think this is good for Zane. Then next up for Nya. Nya was hard. I couldn't really think of a best one for Nya. So I went with Emma Frost and Storm. Storm mainly just because of like Storm and Nya can control Storm. Not as terms of character as much. I sort of picked out one thing from each of these two and then saw it in Nya. Like Emma Frost turning into the diamond, I sort of saw as Nya turning into like her Naiad form, I guess you could call it. That's why I did that. And then for Storm, obviously you've got the moments say in season 8 where she's controlling the storm. So Nya was a bit harder than say Kai, but I still think this is a pretty good comparison for her. Then we've got Wu. Wu was kind of hard. When you see Garmadon, you'll understand the Professor X one more. But I went with Professor X and Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben is kind of there. I just saw similarities a bit, but obviously Wu doesn't die. But I do kind of feel like Wu could have died and it would have felt similar to, say, Uncle Ben. That's why I put him there. For example, like take Crystallized. That really felt like they were going to kill Wu off. And even in season 1, they kill him. Kind of. It feels like they killed him off for a little bit. So that's why I went that. And then Professor X obviously unites all of them. Very smart, knows a lot, been around a lot longer than them, wise with his age, but has made mistakes that come back to get him. And as you'll see next with Garmadon, yeah, Magneto, you see the similarities there. I kind of feel like they're based off each other, if anything, because it's very similar. Obviously, Wu's also based off other characters, but I can see the similarities between Wu. And with that said, yeah, Garmadon, I think Magneto fits Garmadon perfectly. You've got obviously him and Wu being brothers, which is like Magnus and Charles being brothers. You've got the fact that he's not always evil and that he believes what he's doing is right. He's not like he's a villain, but he's not like just doing it to do it. He actually believes it's right and he's got a different perspective than Professor X or like Wu. And yeah, I think this is a very good comparison. I'm very happy with these picks. I think, yeah, I could see them being based off it a little bit. It's so similar. And then you've even got the stuff that Magneto's not always evil, and Garmadon's not always evil, like in season 3 and season 4. And then in X-Men 97, Magneto literally leads the X-Men for a bit. So, yeah, I definitely see similarities in these two. Then we've got the Overlord. I just put Thanos. This one was a little bit less, like, clear. There were other villains we'll get to that I saw more. Like, I think this is a really good pick, Garmadon being Magneto. But the Overlord Thanos, I just more put because of, like, Ninjago itself, where the big kind of finale of Ninjago was leading up to the Overlord. So that sort of is similar to how Thanos was the final one in the Infinity Saga. I feel like that's the same for the Overlord. So that's mainly why I went for. Obviously, like their motivations and their characters are completely different. The Overlord's pure evil, been around forever, and technically, even though I think this is stupid, technically can't be like permanently defeated, where obviously Thanos has his motives which aren't right, but they make sense kind of. Like makes sense why he could believe that. And then it was building up to him the whole time, like the prophecy of the Green Ninja had Thanos showing up and other things building up to him, and then he comes down and then well the Overlord doesn't win, but yeah, like I see a lot of similarities still. Then we've got who do we go for next? I think Arin. Yeah, Arin. I think this is an easy one as well. Arin's Miles Morales. I don't know how anyone else you could pick. I think this is a perfect pick. First off, do they not look exactly like? This is not a race thing. This is just a, but they do. Like, look at their hair. Like, is this not the same character? Even the hoodie is so similar. Arin having the hoodie and stuff in season one. Miles has that in mainly Into the Spider-Verse. I think this is a perfect pick. He's trained similar to Miles is by an older, more experienced ninja, or in that case, Spider-Man, who Lloyd isn't out of it like Peter B. Parker is, but it's still very similar. And yeah, even the way they're talked about, like Miles, oh, you're the best of us, Miles. Arin, oh, you're going to be the best ninja, Arin. Their parents, that is a bit different, but still like their parents being very central to their characters. Like we see Miles betray the whole, well, not betray, but go against the whole spider society to protect his dad. And we see Arin go against the ninja just for the chance that he might be able to find his parents. So I think this is a clear comparison. Very happy with this one. Then for Sora, I was going to just put Ironheart, but I thought that'd be a bit harsh because she's a pretty bad character. So I put Iron Man as well. But Ironheart does make more sense. Like technology, very smart. Doesn't build a suit, but builds stuff. Like, yeah, I think this is a pretty accurate one. So I'm pretty happy with Sora as Ironheart slash Iron Man, and obviously the metal arm, which I thought was a prosthetic arm, but apparently isn't. And yeah, I think this is a good comparison. And then yeah, I think that's all I got to say for Sora. Then for Ryu, I went with Groot and Cosmo. I went with Cosmo just because Ryu's kind of a bit of a dog, like acts a bit like a dog. So that's why I went with that. And then the Groot, I think Groot's pretty clear. Doesn't speak like English, evolves. Yeah, I think this is a pretty clear one. I do. Ryu is hard as well because there's not really. Well, it's hard because they would give a character like Ryu more in Marvel or something where Ryu's sort of just there. So it's kind of hard to compare him, but I think Groot's the easiest comparison. Obviously, you've got baby, then adult, then becomes huge, and I'm predicting Ryu's going to become a Source Dragon. So I think this is a pretty good comparison. Then next up, we have Wyldfyre. I went with, what's her name? She's in the Daily Bugle. Firestar. I went with her. I could again go with Human Torch, but I mean, first off, dude, and then also it's a different character while they're around, so I didn't go with Human Torch. I thought Firestar was pretty clear. I haven't watched anything with Firestar in it, so I don't really know what her personality is like compared to Wyldfyre, but I still think this is a pretty good comparison. So yeah, that's Wyldfyre. Then next up we have Frack. I have no idea what this guy's name is. I was meant to remember, but I forgot. But just a snake dude. I think he's in the Serpent Society. And then Quake. I think Quake's pretty clear. Obviously, she's a girl. Frack's a boy. That's why I put the other guy in as well. But Quake literally is Frack's power, so that's why I went with that. Then we have Euphrasia. Again, I went with Storm. There wasn't too much to go with Euphrasia. There's no wind-powered characters in Marvel, and Storm was the closest to it. Plus, we didn't really get that much of Euphrasia, so it's kind of hard. Then, how many more do we have? We've got 3 more. For Lord Raz, I think Doctor Doom's the easiest pick. First off, they're like a big bad that's lurking around, like build up to, which Raz is. Appear all the time. More as a Fantastic Four villain for Doom. But I just think it's perfect. Very smart. They seem to be very smart. They've got a motive usually revolving around family, which we've learnt for Raz. That we're pretty sure his motive is to bring his people back. That's what he said. I mean, we can't fully believe him, but I don't know why he would say that otherwise. So we know Raz's motivation is also to bring his people back. Scarred Doom's usually scarred, Raz is scarred. Um, Doom doesn't serve a higher master. That was the one thing I was a little bit like confused on. You could go Ronin, but I just don't see any other similarities. Whereas with Doom and Raz, I see a lot, like very smart, bit manipulative, like yeah. So I think this is a great comparison from another place like Latveria, the wildness slash like Chima. So I think this is spot on. I couldn't think of any other villain that would be more accurate to Raz. So yeah, Doom for Raz. Then for Pixel, this is actually a very smart one for me. I went with Friday, Tony's AI from Age of Ultron to like Endgame, I think. I think she's all the way there. This is very smart because obviously, as you know, Zane has Pixel in his head, similar to Friday. That's why I went with that. Quite proud of this pick actually. I think it's quite smart. I couldn't really think of another character for Pixel. There's not really any robotic ones, so yeah, I'm pretty happy with this pick. And then last one we have Misako. I went with Mystique because she abandons Nightcrawler like Misako did Lloyd. So yeah, those are my picks. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree with any of them. I think they're all pretty good. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this, say Marvel, say Ninjago and DC, or Ninjago and Star Wars or something like that, because yeah, it'd be very fun to make. There might be a video coming up on Ninjago Smart Play. I'm not sure. That might have to wait a little bit, just until we get a bit more information. But if there is, expect a rant about that, because that will very likely ruin the theme for next year, especially with the ending of Dragons Rising. Anyway, so yeah, expect that. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and goodbye.